Hey guys, this is Accounting Nightmare, and this is my Let's Play commentary for the first boss in Mogushan Vaults, the Stone Guard. This is recorded on Heroic, because we've been killing it on Heroic for quite a while, so I don't have a recording of this fight on Normal. So I'll just try and explain the whole thing in this one video. There's not a big difference between the two difficulties, mechanically anyway. So this is actually 4 bosses, and they have a shared health pool, which means any damage you do to one of them is also done to the others. So basically when you finish the fight they all drop dead at the same time. So the main gimmick here is in the bottom left hand corner of my screen you'll see there's a red bar that's filling up. That means that the red dog is currently trying to petrify us. Yes, they all have a different colour. There's the cobalt one, which is blue, the jade one, which is green, the amethyst one, which is purple, and the jasper one, which is red. At any one time in the fight, one of the dogs will be trying to petrify you. And basically, if that bar fills up, we all turn to stone, the boss resets, and we lose, basically. So we need to stop that, obviously. And now the blue one is trying to petrify us, because the bar's blue. You know, it's pretty obvious. So how do you stop them from petrifying you? Well, to explain that, first I'll have to explain something else in the fight, so just bear with me. Each of these dogs has an energy bar, and if the dog's off on its own, the bar won't move, but if 2 or more of them are next to each other, then their bars start filling up. If one of them gets full energy, it'll spend all its energy on a big move called Overload. Now the trick is, if the dog that's currently trying to petrify you doesn't overload, then it stops petrifying you. That's cool. But if a dog is not currently petrifying you and it doesn't overload, then it does a ton of damage. On normal mode it's very painful. On heroic you just all die right then and there. So obviously you don't want that to happen. So it's a kind of like a juggling game. We have 3 tanks. One tank is up the front, he's got 2 dogs at the moment. And our other 2 tanks are on the left and right. They have 1 dog each. So what they do is they taunt back and forth, and they try to only let the dog that's petrifying us overload by trying to keep the other one's energies low. And this takes a lot of communication over vent. And it looks pretty damn hard, honestly. I have nothing but respect for our tanks for doing this. So that's the main mechanic of the fight. Each dog also has its own signature ability that it does throughout the fight. The purple one drops those little purple puddles on the ground. They just spawn under players, and all you do is move out of them. That's it. They spawn under you, so you just move off of them. They just do damage. The blue one makes those blue crystals. Those are called cobalt mines. They also spawn under players. It takes them a few seconds to arm, so you do have time to run out of them. But once they're armed, if anyone steps in their radius, they explode and do a bit of damage to that player. It's quite a bit of damage. It doesn't one-shot them, even on heroic, but it is a fair bit. And also, if the blue dog is currently petrifying you, you take less damage from the mines, so you can have people play Minesweeper and run around and blow up the mines on purpose just to clear off some floor space. That's only if the blue dog is petrifying you, though. The green one, he does jade shards. Every now and then he just does an AoE, hits everyone in the raid. Nothing you can do about it, you just have to heal through it. And finally, the red dog does Jasper chains. This is the worst ability. He chains 2 people together, and those people will have a red line going between them. You'll see there's a couple people there who have chains on them. And what you have to do is you have to get together, otherwise the chains will do damage to both of you. The longer you're apart, the more damage the chains will do. So if you're chained to someone, you have to run towards them immediately. And you have to stay linked to them pretty much for the rest of the fight until you're able to break the chain. To break the chain, you have to stand apart from each other, which means you're going to be taking tons of damage. Thankfully, if the Jasper dog is currently petrifying you, you take less damage from the chains. So when the Jasper dog is petrifying, that's when everyone spreads out their chains and breaks them on purpose, because they'll take less damage. Don't try this if you're not being petrified by the red dog though, because you'll both drop dead. It's very painful. So if the red dog doesn't feel like petrifying you, you can end up with pretty much the entire raid chained to each other. It's very painful. The only people who don't get chained are tanks, thankfully. That would be quite terrible if tanks were viable chain targets. So the final mechanic in this fight is the tiles. This is only on heroic mode. See those yellow tiles around the place? Basically, there's these crystals that people can click on, and that'll give them charges of a debuff. And as they run over tiles, these charges will be spent to light up the tiles. The more tiles that are lit up, the more DPS everyone does, and the more spirit everyone has. So that's good, obviously. You'll want that to beat the enrage timer. And every so often, the dogs will actually turn off all the tiles in the room. I think it's every third of their health. So when that happens, obviously you want people to go light up the tiles again. You can have people dedicated to doing this, but things can crop up. Like those people can be chained to healers and stuff. So you do need a bit of flexibility there. So what we do is, at the start of the fight, we have all of our DPS run over and light up as many tiles as they can before they start DPSing. This gives the tanks a bit more time to actually get thread as well. And every time the tiles are turned off, any DPS that's free should run over and light up some tiles. That's the strategy we use. We find it really useful, because quite often we'll have some people assigned to tile running and they'll get chained to a healer. They won't be able to continue doing it. And the more tiles you have lit up, obviously the better. And the longer you have them lit up, the better, because that's more spirit. And tanks take quite a beating in this fight, so your healers are going to be burning through quite a bit of mana. So yeah, that is the Heroic Stone Guard, 25 man. On 10 man, you only actually have 3 dogs. The 3 dogs you have is different each week. On 25 man though, you have all 4 every time. It gets pretty chaotic. So yeah, it's a pretty fun fight. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.